Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Chris Williams.
Welcome to New Life Live. I am so glad that you are with us today, and there is many different ways to be with us today and every day. That obviously you can listen to us on a local radio station. We're all across the country. We are also on the New Life app. That's a really easy way to access us. And then we're, of course, online through newlife.com, and we're on YouTube. So really, there's not an excuse not to watch or see or join us, right?
And there's quite the community on YouTube. So if you want to be part of the discussion and comment and be engaged with the New Life family, that's one of the hot spots to
Alice,
join.
that's great. I mean, because you get live interaction and discussion. That's fantastic. And so obviously you hear Alice's voice. So I have Dr. Alice Benton and I have Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris.
Hi. Glad to be here.
Good to see you.
And I love that idea about engaging in the online community, like creating a space where you can talk about what you're hearing with others who are in the same space. I love that.
Well, that leads me into something I want to introduce today. And before I introduce that, I want to say this. If you do want to join us, call us 1-800-229-3000. Again, 1-800-229-3000. We would love to join you. And here's how I want to open this. I noticed that online, in these applications, social media, all of those sort of things, there is a lot of toxicity, right? I mean, this isn't new. This has been going on for a long time. But I find that we have this tool of good or this tool of evil, but in the end, it's just a tool. How in the world do we navigate this tool to do two things? One, protect us from that which is diminishing returns, that which keeps us in unhealthy, stuck, or leads us into unhealthy and stuck places. Or how do we use this for a thing of good, for health, community, that sort of thing? So Alice, you're the social media expert. Let me start with you.
Well, I'd say I'm obsessed with this topic, especially as a mom to my 3 kids. And one of the primary strategies we really need to consider applying, but it's also one of the most difficult, is delaying our children's access and limiting how much they're on screen. But what has become a little bit easier for me personally is engaging with them on screen, which I was previously really opposed to because I'm a fearful screen limiter by nature. At least I limit other people. I don't necessarily limit myself.
Yeah, right.
But it's this digital mentoring idea that getting on screen with our children so that we can model for them, and we probably have to clean up our own act to model well, but model for them and teach them how to be on screen, helping them to be aware of how it's affecting them, so that they can learn how to protect themselves while enjoying the benefits of screens. And there are plenty of benefits.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
I had an conversation recently with someone, and they were saying they were having an event with their family, and they're out and they're taking pictures and they're doing things, and they took all these photos and then they posted them. And it was an opportunity for mom to show the kids how just because you see these great happy photos online doesn't mean that everybody's living their best life.
Yeah.
Because they had gotten into an argument, there was challenges, there was difficulties, and yet still they were able to post these fabulous photos.
That's really good. And I love that mentoring idea. And I love getting it in perspective. One of the things that I've noticed for myself is whatever sour mood I'm in, social media is going to feed it. And so I have to really understand what condition I'm in before I engage. The other aspect is I really have to have a strong intention of what do I want to make of this and be it about. Because if I take a passive approach, usually ends poorly. So we hope for wisdom for you, and we'll be back right after this.
We went to the Intimacy and Marriage in 2019. We were both done. This is Steve Arterburn. Do you feel like your marriage is done? New Life can help. We believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life. Our Intimacy in Marriage workshop examines the various types of intimacy, spiritual, emotional, and physical, as well as the challenges of experiencing true intimacy.
The next Intimacy in Marriage Intensive is February 16th to the 18th in Orange County, California. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more or go to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433.
Don't settle for a miserable marriage or even one that's just okay. It's possible to experience a new level of intimacy and have a great marriage.
The transformation phenomenal, and it's transformed our lives so much.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Chris Williams, Dr. Alice Benton, Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris. We're glad that you're with us today. We're just talking about the use of social media and our screens and the engagement in it. I just wanted, just land that with this concept for myself that's been more helpful, is have a purpose and intention. Because if when I go in and I'm passive or I'm just mindlessly doom scrolling, I end up with doom. Mm-hmm. And so it's not feeding my soul well. Yeah. So
you'll get what you're looking for.
Absolutely. That's a really good point.
And social media is designed to feed you your own beliefs. So whatever you think is true, you are going to hit an algorithm that aligns with that truth, and it will continue to show you those things. If you like black boots, you will see all the black boot ads, people in black boots, problems with black boots, right? So it's designed that way, and they did it because that would be the most profitable, but it's a emergent animal. It is evolving and it's just growing. And if we don't have intentions when we get on it, we can just get sucked into this terrible loop of feeding our negative beliefs.
Yeah.
If we get on passively, as you two are describing, then the default mode is the world, AI, these programs, they get to decide what's going into our soul because it gets in through the eyes, through the ears. And so we can either choose what will be life-giving to us, but if we go default mode, it's not going to end up life-giving long-term. It won't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and it's really designed that, as I say, buttons make bucks. And so for you to push a button is another buck in somebody's pocket. Yeah. And so the idea of that is the quickest way to elicit a reaction or an action in person is to create a crisis and a fear. That lower part of our brain operates at about 4 billion bytes per second, that survival brain that kicks into fight, flight, freeze. Our prefrontal cortex operates at about 2 million bytes per second. So just as a point of context, that is 2 miles an hour versus 4,000 miles an hour. Huh. So fear and vitriol and anger, it's fast and it's furious, and it's the quickest way to get somebody to act. So if buttons mean bucks and I want you to push it, I'm going to push your button of fear and anxiety and angst and anger.
And what we don't often realize is the same people who are pushing the buttons have designed it.
Exactly.
They've fed us the information that makes us fearful, that makes us rageful, that makes us feel discontent in whatever our system or situation is. And then they come right behind and push it. You have to do this, or you have to say this, or you have to purchase this in order to be better or to eliminate the threat. And so we've created a world where people are living in survival mode and don't even know it.
Absolutely. And so if you're struggling, I'd say as we all are struggling with screen time. Truth be told. Yes. Yep. So the other thing is that this is a really, really good time. If you are a parent, and as you parents are out there, I think a necessary And that's, in fact, my wife was just showing me Alice's writing last night to me. Is that Alice's book? Alice, the title is Loving and Understanding.
Flipped around, Understanding and Loving Your Child in a Screen-Saturated World, that Steve and I wrote together.
Excellent. Yes. So you can find that at our bookstore. Go online, newlife.com, and that will be an important resource for you. And yeah, there's a couple other things I want to mention, resources for you. Lose It for Life online this next Saturday. This is really to discuss, or really to process the power that is behind the struggle. If you are a person who is struggling to lose weight, to get healthy, and to get into a healthy lifestyle, one more crash diet is not going to work for you. I remember taking a call from a listener and a participant, and this is what they said about Lose It for Life. They said, I went in looking for strategies to help sustain a healthier body and lifestyle, and really to lose weight off of my body. And they said, what I ended up discovering is losing weight off of my soul. That gave me energy to engage in what I needed to do. And really that is the heart and soul.
And we lose weight off of our soul by getting into deeper relationship and revealing what's on our soul. So it doesn't work to go this path alone, which is why New Life in our intensives, we create community for folks, especially those who struggle to find safe people around them. It will happen at the intensive.
Absolutely. And so check that out online. And the workshop is online. So you don't have to get on a plane, or you don't have to get in a car. You don't have to drive somewhere. You can access it in your own home, in your living room, or wherever you are. And it is just this really, really powerful place to jumpstart health, and which happens to be my word for this year.
Health is your word?
Health is the word for the year. So, and it started off so good. Really well right now. So we're a few weeks into it, and we'll see. I'd say it's not a resolution, it's a vision. It's a focus and a focal point. So the other thing is that as Steve is on sabbatical, we love his wisdom. We love what he's created here, and we love to hear from him. And so Steve has a short message for us. And Terry, can you cue that up for us?
I'm Steve Arterburn with a New Life Moment. In the movie The Sixth Sense, a little boy with unusual powers looks up at the character played by Bruce Willis and says, I see dead people. As I look at the world around me, I have something in common with that little boy. I see dead people too. But they're still walking around in the flesh. Their eyes reflect the sorry truth that their soul has become shriveled and dry and desperate. They've lost their purpose and reason for living, or they've never found it. Their lives are a grind, and they feel victimized by everyone and everything. Their deadness is emotional and spiritual rather than physical, but they are no less dead. The good news is that they don't have to stay that way. I'm Steve Arterburn, and if I've just described your life or someone you love, why don't you visit me at newlife.com, and I can share with you a path to healing and life. Thanks for listening to this New Life Moment.
That is so powerful, and I concur with Steve, is that there are dead people all around us, and there's a lot of times where there is deadness inside of ourselves, and the resurrection is really at the heart of our faith. It's the heart of our life. And it really is the heartbeat of New Life. In fact, the title of it, New Life. And so if you want to join us, if there is a dead spot or a troublesome spot, challenging spot in your life, in your heart, in your relationships, give us a call today, 1-800-229-3000. We would love to talk to you and help you and guide you in finding life in the dead places.
And Chris, we can become walking dead. It's like a spiritual or emotional zombie. When our heart is overwhelmed with unfinished business that we haven't paid enough attention to. And we're seeing this in an even more severe way with the increase in suicidal thinking, even in children.
Yeah.
The increase in morbid thinking where people just have a desire to die. They want their life to end, but not an active plan to take their life. But we're seeing these numbers increase dramatically of how many people are living what Steve is describing, where they feel like they're on the edge of death and they want to cross over that edge. And so, folks, if that rings true for you, please call in, because we can help you, and help you quickly by giving you some paths, some strategies, because there's a way out, and God is just desperate to help you along the way out from suicidal thinking.
For sure. And Alice, I love that term, unfinished business. But what does that mean, or what does that look like?
We all have it, because it's the difficult things that we have been through in life. It can either be difficult, problematic, all the way to traumatic, where we went through it, but we haven't yet worked through it. So usually we don't talk about it. We culturally have the tendency, we sweep it under the rug so that we can survive, because it's too overwhelming to consider actually talking about what we thought and felt as we went through dire circumstances. And so that's unfinished business. It means we haven't brought it into the light. We're not taking a good firm look at it, and we're not talking about it in relationship with people who can love us through it. And so that's what counseling is all about. It's bringing out, identifying and bringing out into relationship our unfinished business.
Yeah, that's good.
Many of us were taught not to share, not to talk about, not to process the hard things. If you think about it, it's just going to make it worse. Or why are you thinking about that? It happened in the past. It's over. You don't just move on. And unfortunately, we don't move on. We get stuck. We get stuck at the point of, I'm not going to think about this. And so now you're just living with that in you. And that begins to erode your life. And I think that's where the death begins. The death of the soul begins at that place where something hard or awful has happened, and we're condemned if we want to do anything about it. If we're in a community that doesn't understand that talking about it with someone else, relationship is where healing happens. If we're in that kind of community, then it's easy to get stuck, hard to move forward, and not feel like you're sinning or harming people. Yeah. And so how do we move that forward when we're in community that's telling us it's not okay to talk about it? Yeah. You're just making it worse by talking about it. You're creating the problem by bringing it up.
Yeah. And that is the pain that will have its way with us if we don't address it. And so that's what we're here for, is to address the pain that we're not talking about, address the unfinished business, so that we can get on to the business of the life sitting in front of us and the life that God has for us. Speaking of that, we want to get on to Sean in Frederick, Maryland, listening on WAVA, one of our favorite partner stations there on the East Coast. So, Sean, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome, man. Talk to us. What's going on today?
Well, I've listened to WAVA for a while. I've got some good information out there, have some books. I've tried to introduce my wife into it. She's listened to it too, but we were brought into it from church as well. But I really have a really hard times through my marriage with my wife. We have been together for 10 years, been married for 2 years. And before getting married, we have issues that we're struggling with. And it took me that while as a man, because I thought maybe I should try to resolve those issues before getting into marriage, even though I really love my wife. But at one point, it felt like me not getting married to her was not a good option. I needed to do that to prove that she's worth it, which I did. But that didn't solve our problems. So it just felt like the ring was more important than the problems, which I gave her the ring. To the point that every time we have a fight, she would take it off and throw it away to show off to people that we have a fight. So I never took mine off because I thought we did a vow, and it wasn't right for me to do that. But we have gone through issues. I know she suffers from anxiety, and we come from two different cultures and backgrounds. So we have problems with even parenting our kids, or doing things or activities that we like. Of course, we have 3 kids. It's different than when we used to just be me and her.
But Sean, you have these really deep-rooted conflicts in your marriage, right? That have not been resolved.
Yes.
does it feel like you guys are like arguing about the same thing? It may have a different like details, but it's like the same topic or the same pattern over and over again?
Yes. It feels like we are arguing about the same pattern. It might it might be different things, but it's related to almost the same pattern. It's like one part is not listening to the other, so we have to go back to it.
Yeah.
To the point that we even do it. It affects the kids because my kids are kind of the way I try to discipline them.
Well, Sean, let me jump in really quickly here because you hear the music and we're going to head to the break here really soon. But here's what I want you to do during the break. I want you to think of the question you want to ask us. If there's one question, it's like, hey, help me figure this out. Think of that as we go to the break, and we'll come back and we'll answer that. And for everyone else, thank you for being with us. Stay with us. If you want to give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. We'll be right back.
Before coming to this weekend, I have been dealing with the guilt and shame of an abortion that I had 20 years ago. And we have 3 awesome kids. But every time I kept getting close to the Lord, kids saying to me, "You're the best mom." That voice in the back said, "You're a horrible mother. Look what you did to that child. You killed somebody. You don't deserve any of this, and you're not worthy." To help free me from my guilt and see that I would not make the same decision today, I would make a different decision, and I am a great mom, and God can use me.
This is Steve Arterburn, and this is the story of a new life. After 20 years of guilt and shame, she attended a workshop and now is free. You can be part of offering hope to others as you step out in faith by donating to New Life Ministries.
To make your tax-deductible gift, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or visit newlife.com and click Donate. Daniel Grossman on coaching.
Coaches are really focused on the future and helping people to develop those skills and those strategies to help them move forward in their life. A coach really partners with you to focus on things like personal growth or health goals, spiritual growth, helping you develop in your career or possibly strengthening your relationships or maybe even breaking free from a negative pattern.
If you need a coach for life, your career, relationships, your health and fitness, leadership, and more, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
Coaches use different techniques. Some like to use strategic questions and accountability, ultimately empowering you to take those next steps towards your goals.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and talk to us about getting a New Life coach today.
I really believe that everyone can use a coach in their corner.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Chris Williams here. I'm with Dr. Alice Benton, Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris. Hey, we're going to be in studio for 2 hours today, so we got time. Give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. Right now, we're talking to Sean. Sean is, before the break, was describing a very painful, conflicted marriage where they have co-parenting, they have differences in culture, they have differences in approach, but they have these same arguments over and over again. So, Sean, what's the question for us today?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. The question I really want to have is I want to figure out how to be able to strengthen my marriage. Talking to my wife without feeling like I'm a better person than she is or being criticized for everything I said because it might come in wrongly.
Yeah.
And Sean, have you two gotten any structured help through these years together?
From our church, Good News Presbyterian Church, we have had our pastor counsel us, and apparently at this moment I have signed up for one of your counselors, which I will be starting this week. Oh,
excellent.
So that we can go through that. But families and friends and church, we have tried to have those help. But things just keep repeating itself over and over again. I don't even know how to handle it anymore.
Sean, do you know what might be one of the main sources of your wife's anxiety? And I'm even thinking a historical source of such a low sense of self-worth that she feels.
Well, I have tried to talk to her about it. I paid a couple anxiety sessions for her. She used to just do pills, and I tried to encourage her to find someone she can talk to, we should talk to. I don't know if she had any better progress in that, but I've tried to ask her what could have really triggered that. She has never really given me a good explanation for what it had really triggered that. But what I can say is, I think sometimes, like she was mentioned, like I take her to be inferior, or it makes her have a low esteem. So I don't know if I do that intentionally or I even mean to, because I really love her. Everything I do is with love. But from her high school relationship, she didn't finish high school, and I think she had a hard time through middle school to high school, that she don't even connect with any of her friends. So I don't know if it came from that period or wherever that came from. I don't know, but I've never really found the real cause of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It sounds like that high school experience could have really impacted her belief in herself. And if you are maybe more educated than her, she has that feeling of being less than, because maybe you say things that she doesn't understand, or you guys have these differences. And it could just really be that you have these differences because you grew up in different households and you had different cultures, and it doesn't make one better or worse than the other. But when we have that sense of worthlessness inside of us, it will continue to be reinforced whenever you guys have these conflicts. I think, have you ever heard of the book How We Love?
I think that's one of your representatives just told me about it, that I should look into that book, How We Love.
Yes. I think it would help you all to understand yourselves a little bit better, and then you could understand how you're interacting with one another. Because what I hear you asking for, Sean, is help me to know why I'm coming across as though I think I'm better than her. And if you can get into How We Love, you can find that answer to how you love, how you do connection, and how that's impacting your relationship with her.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that is true. She's always said that I feel like I know more than her, and it's true. I have a bachelor's degree, computer science, and I'm little educated than she is, but I try not to bring it up that way. Of course,
the thing is, you have something she doesn't, and so she feels like you know more than her when you're talking to her. That is just the way that it's going to be, because you might know more than her. You know different things than she does. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It is important, though, for her to get to a place where she can gain more knowledge if that's what she wants, rather than being upset with you because she doesn't know some of the things.
That's true.
And Sean, when she seems angry and takes her ring off, I want you to keep assuming this anger is just a cover for her fear. And she might be afraid of you losing her because she's not good enough for you. That's probably what she thinks. So she's going to leave first in taking her ring off. It's probably protective, and there's probably fear at the core of it. And so your willingness to keep acknowledging that you are ignorant about some things and that you make mistakes too. And I think you have two entry points for this. One is you don't know how to fix this. Your best attempts have not yet fixed it. I want you to keep bringing that humility to her, acknowledging that. And secondly, as you said, you also took your ring off in reaction. You held off for such a long time, but you fell into that too. Bring that confession to her again, as you probably already have, of, gosh, I made a mistake in doing that. How did it affect you when I took my ring off? Those two steps will help make it a little safer for her to hopefully let her guard down and open her heart up.
Okay, I'll try that.
And so, Sean, I love what you've been given here today. You know, there are deeper patterns inside. I want you to know, when we hold a negative belief about ourselves, unfortunately, another person can't fix that. We got to go and do our own work. Your wife has to do her own work. You have to do your own work. But I couldn't encourage you enough. Coming up in February 18th through the 16th, here in Orange County, is the Intimacy and Marriage Weekend. You know, I'm not into making guarantees, but I guarantee that workshop will move the needle of your marriage to much healthier, much greater understanding. So I want to encourage you with that. So glad. We're going to send you a copy of How We Love. Thank you so much for calling in today, Sean. We'll be right back.
life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, Chris Williams, Dr. Alice Benton, Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris. We are going to be in studio for another hour and a half. So if you have something on your heart, on your mind that we can help you with, give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. I want to go to Bob. He's listening in North Carolina. He is on our app. And so I love people connecting with us on our app. And so, Bob, what do you have today?
I was just calling because I was at Every Man's Battle this weekend as an alumni, and they said you don't have to ask a question, but you could chime in and let people know what a great program it is, and it's like a life changer.
Bob, I have a question for you.
Sure.
You went through it the first time, and what changed in your life as a result of going to it the first time?
Well, the first time my wife forced me. I was like, she was like, you need to go to this thing. And I was like very apprehensive. Mm-hmm. And I was really nervous. And when I went back as an alumni, I was looking forward to it. It was just an amazing experience. It really changed the way, I don't have any desire to look at that crap anymore. Mm-hmm. I feel like the chains have been taken off me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And for those of us who've been through it one time, what would you encourage about coming back?
Oh, the first time you're there, it's overwhelming. There's so much information.
Yes.
So the second time I was there, I mean, you could really focus on what they're talking about, and there's no pressure. It's like it's just fellowship.
That's awesome.
Bob, your story points out as well that our mental health, our spiritual health, it's never a one and done. It is an ongoing life process that if we want to maintain the progress we've made, and especially if we want to grow more, we have to stay plugged in to a process, to a group, to a community. And so thank you that you have done that and that you're willing to invite other men to do the same. Would you tell for the wives, hearing that your wife had to force you to go, and thanks for that humility there and admitting that. Did your wife set up some sort of a consequence or an ultimatum if you didn't go?
Well, at the time, she kicked me out. I was basically, homeless.
Wow.
And what would you tell what would you tell other wives who are so hesitant, fearful about forcing their husband, thinking I can't force him? What would you encourage other wives to do?
I really don't know what to tell them, but if they could just see the changes that people can make, it's not over. There's hope.
Yeah. And I love that message, Bob, that message of hope. Yeah.
Yeah, there really is, because, like I said, I was basically homeless, and when I came home from the weekend, I called her, and I said, you mind if I just spend the night? And I walked in, I bursted out in tears, I held her, and she when I called her and she said I could come home, she made a nice big candlelight dinner, and she's a blessing in my life, and it's just amazing what God did for me.
And that's incredible.
It could do for anybody out there.
We each need to hit a bottom at which we have sufficient pain with our behavior that we decide this is not worth it anymore. Okay, now I'm ready for help. And sometimes a spouse needs to help their partner hit that bottom by removing something, like even the right to your home. Yeah. So it's a very encouraging but difficult story, Bob, that you share with us.
And then she kept up her end of the bargain, right? You got to get out or go. Go to every man's battle or you can't be here. You went to every man's battle and she welcomed you back in, and you guys were able to grieve the troubles and start to move forward. And when you said that coming back, you were able to just kind of focus and be present. Well, present was the word that came up for me, because you're not anxious about what people are thinking about you. You're not anxious about not knowing how this will go. And you've heard some of these things before. So repetition, and you may have heard the phrase, repetition is key. So coming back again and hearing it a second time, now it's starting to be installed into you, and you've been practicing it, so it makes more sense. So I love that you came back a second time.
I love it, Bob. Well, Bob, thank you so much for calling in and letting us know the impact. And you went to Every Man's Battle, what we refer to as EMB. We're going to send you another EMB, which is Every Man's Bible. So we're going to send that out to you, and thank you for the encouragement. And based on what Bob said, if you are a guy out there and you are struggling with sexual integrity, if you are struggling with patterns of sexual brokenness and damaging behavior, that does have consequences. But the consequences don't have to continue on. And Every Man's Battle is coming up March 1st in Dallas. Don't waste time. Sign up today. If your wife and your husband happens to be struggling in this area, make the demand. Just make it. Because you are worthy and deserving of having sexual integrity in your marriage, in your home. And lastly, I would say this. For those of you who have been through Every Man's Battle and you need a booster, you need a really, really good booster, go. Be an alumni, check it out, be a support for those guys who are there, and get the support that you need. It is such an amazing resource. It is such an amazing community of people and of guys, and the work that God does in there, it really is indescribable. I don't have all the words that can express it. Just one thing I do want to mention, going through the weekend doesn't cure anyone, but it allows them to walk through a doorway in which they can now live out. And it'll take a lot of work and years of work, maybe a lifetime of work, but now you know what to do, and you don't have to live in the painful places you did before. So again, you can find that online at www.newlife.com, or you can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Talk to one of our counselors if you have more questions about it. If you have questions on logistics, or if you need a scholarship, give us a call. We'd love to help you out with that. With that, we're going to go back to the phone lines. We're going to go to Sal in Albuquerque, New Mexico, listening online. Sal, are you there?
I'm right here.
All right. Well, tell us what's going on and how we can help you.
Well, I have 4 children, and I've been very close and helpful with my youngest daughter, who's been through a lot of difficult times and taking care of her kids and different things. So we have an unusually and a long, closer relationship because of proximity. She's 40 and I'm 81, and she's my baby. And she has made comments about me being passive-aggressive in my communication. And I know what it is, but I still don't quite get it, because I wouldn't say that I'm that way myself, because we don't see ourselves that way, I guess.
For sure, absolutely.
So I need to have some clarification on what it is, an example of what it is, and how I need to be to change.
Jacqui, Jacqui, you're in the wheelhouse.
Hi, Sal.
Hi.
So,
I feel like I know you all.
Yes. So I love that you're bringing this topic. I love the relationship you have with your daughter and your understanding of it and your willingness to explore this. So people often don't recognize when they're passive aggressive. And so I'm going to tell you a quick little story about my sister. There was a holiday coming up. Halloween was coming up, and her daughter wanted to be a character from a book that she had been reading, and she would dress up and wear that to school because they were going to have a parade at school. And she talked about it, and then her sister said that's what she was going to be. And so as my sister is telling me that she's been told she's passive aggressive on her job and she's really wanting to understand it more and she's not going to be passive aggressive anymore, she also follows up and tells me that she told her daughter, well, just ignore her and that way she'll learn. So I said, so you want her to be passive and not really share that hurt her and that she doesn't want her to be in the same costume, but you also don't want her to confront, but it's an aggressive move because she's still angry. And so the passive aggressive thing is usually a pleaser who really doesn't want to hurt anyone, doesn't want to make waves, trying to show someone your feelings without actually expressing the depth of your emotion. So you could just come right out and say it, or you can say, oh, well, it's not that big a deal, and I'll just let them learn. I'll just let them figure it out. They'll see when I don't show up that hurt me, rather than just saying, man, that hurt me.
Yeah.
Be direct.
Yeah.
It's okay to have feelings and share them. And I can hear the music, so
yeah, Sal, we're going to head to a break right now, and we'll be right back right after this. If you want to join us, 1-800-229-3000.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We have Sal on the phone, and she is talking about what in the world is it to be passive-aggressive, because it's sometimes, or all the time, hard to see within ourselves. And Jacqui, you were mentioning some really important things here.
Yeah, I just want to finish, Sal, with when you are trying not to be the bad guy, but also trying to get someone to understand your emotion, but you're not direct about it, you create a situation in which, well, they'll see, or I won't tell them, but they'll know because of this action or this behavior, and then you have maybe some annoyance because they didn't. That's the passive aggressive. It's being passive when you're really having feelings that you should be sharing with the person that you're engaged with so that you can actually get some resolve. You're trying to get the resolve without sharing the feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Sal, I have also omitted information about what's happening inside of me because I think I'm supposed to be self-sufficient and I don't want to bother other people with my mess on the inside. So I'm just supposed to deal with it myself. At least that's been my unwritten rule that I used to live by. And then what happens is because we're not admitting what we're feeling, it comes out sideways at the people around us and usually in a hurtful way with an edge to it. I don't want to do that, but it just comes out because God's design is that we would be open with each other, but we mess up that design. Your willingness to listen to your daughter and explore it, I hope you will share that with her, letting her know, I don't get it yet, but I'm trying to figure out how did I do that to you. Tell me any examples when they happen.
She knows that.
Excellent.
And give her permission to give you a signal. So when you snap off, because it comes out sideways, and she feels it, have her say, that was it right there. So you can learn what it feels like in you when she's feeling that you're being passive aggressive.
That's good. And Sal, I'm going to do one quick hack for you. And that's this.
Okay.
You referred to your 40-year-old as your baby. Okay?
Yes, she's my child.
Yes.
The youngest one.
Yes. And I know that that's just kind of like, hey, yeah, she's the baby in the family. But the problem with that is there's something in the brain that's going to treat her as such. And I think that contributes to the passive aggressiveness. Because as we're talking, passive aggressive is managing somebody else's response and my perception, rather than just saying, like, I don't have to treat you as a baby. You're a 40-year-old woman. You're grown. You can handle it. Here's the truth. We have.
And I said that.
Okay, perfect. I love that. So stay with that, because in your mind you say, hey, we have a trust in our relationship that is strong enough to bear truth.
Clearly.
Yes.
Clearly, because your daughter was able to share this with you and you were able to reflect. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that for your family. Yes.
We're going to send you a
I don't think it's an easy subject, though.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Change.
Well, and that's why Jim Burns wrote this great book called Doing Life with Your Adult Children. And we're going to send that to you. I'm going to send you 2 books. I'm going to send Take Your Life Back and Doing Life with Your Adult Children, Sal, because I think both of those will help guide it into understanding each other a little bit better, understanding yourself, and being able to open up and clear up these lines of communication. So, Sal, thank you so much for calling in today. And we're going to go to one final call today. And if you are calling in, if you're waiting online, wait for us. We're going to be in studio for another hour. We want to get to you. If you have something on your heart and mind, you want to call in today, again, give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. We're going to go right now to Christy Ann in Washington, D.C., another WAVA listener, listening on WAVA. Christy Ann, are you there?
I'm here. Hi.
Hi. Tell us what's going on.
So right now I'm just confused about what to do next. I have an 11-year-old daughter who's struggling in almost every imaginable way. Addiction to social media, self-harm to an extreme, thoughts of suicide, and eating disorders, and now recently struggling with substance abuse. So it's just a really hard situation to be in. And then I've been diligent in getting her every kind of social service support, hospital support, things like that, and it's only done worse for her. It's only reinforced some other issues that she's having with identity crisis and confusion, and I'm just at a loss right now. I don't have a lot of support.
And Christiane, I'm assuming she is carrying a lot of pain in her short life.
So for a really long time, her father wasn't a part of her life. He's still really not a part of her life, although he's made some recent attempts to reach out to her. I'm remarried now, but it's only been a year that he's been with us. And, I've seen some acting out, just, testing boundaries and things like that from her. But overall, I would say that they have a good bond and good relationship.
But there's a lot going on underneath the surface for her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
let me jump in only because of time. So sorry to do that, Christiane, but want to get to the bottom line to help you. So she's seen counseling, right? She's been in counseling.
She's been in counseling. She's in counseling now. Her last counselor actually was a Christian counselor who actually told us that she could no longer see us because of my daughter not really cooperating. So my daughter doesn't really want help, so she doesn't need help. Just refusal to cooperate.
Yeah, that's really, really tough. And then, so the question for us is, now what? Is that correct? What do I do now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christiane, hearing that nothing has worked so far and in fact seems to have made things worse could really lead you to delay getting the next provider in. I certainly would be hesitant as a mom if I were in your shoes. And so considering family therapy, even if you've tried it before, but involving your current husband, if at all possible, because there's a lot you parents can keep doing. You've done much of it already, but you can learn different skills to help draw your daughter's heart out, to help put the limits, the boundaries, to protect her from the social media addiction. But it will probably take getting as many family members involved as possible. When nothing has worked, we need to try different providers. We need to try more frequently, and we need to take a look at ourselves as parents. What else can I add in? You've done all you know to do already, and we certainly applaud that. The book that Steve and I wrote together can certainly help you because it's got so many different ideas of short of pulling the plug. Well, sometimes we have to pull the plug on the device, but there's a lot more we can add in to safeguard our children.
There's a lot of anger and fear, it sounds like, in your daughter, and so I'd be really curious. And I think working with a family counselor can help you all explore what she's experienced, her viewpoint of what life has been like for these 11 years, because she doesn't think she needs help. She thinks she's fine, yet she's doing all of these destructive things, and she may really not understand what she's doing and how, well, she doesn't understand what she's doing and how deadly and dangerous it is. So I agree with Alice. If you could get into family therapy where she's not the identified person with the problem, but that this is a family system issue. Her father hasn't been in her life. That has impacted her in horrible ways that we won't know for decades. She's going to grow into what it meant to not have her dad around.
Well, let me end with this, Christiane. There's also, as your daughter is in literally a life-threatening situation, you also want to be able to explore some inpatient options for her. There are programs for adolescents and preteens out there really struggling with what she's struggling with that can help us. So explore that. We have some connections. If you stay on the line, we can get connected. We're going to send you a copy of Healing as a Choice. So Christiane, we'll be in deep prayer for you and your daughter. Thank you for listening to us and wish you a great day.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE, but when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.